So I walked up the hill just about 300, 400 meters, I suppose, from the village. And just barely in the distance you can make out a house over there. So this is where we start, like the wild of it, the bah. Right, you can see a lot of different uses of natural resources. So this used to be more like a 2-track, and then maybe 8 years ago, somewhere around there, Glom Bamai, or the forestry department, I think, came out and carved up a road and put a better surface on, maybe. So here we see bamboo. Used to be a place to eat, but I wouldn't sit on there today. It's about, that last pole is probably 12, 15 feet. All right. Let's walk up the hill a little bit. The rainy season is just getting started, which means the farmers are making sure they have their crops in. You can see the green ground cover is creeping in. It was mostly brown just a month ago. A lot of bamboo, teak wood. Not much old growth. All through these trails back here, there are squatters or people who have a farm away from their home. And if we take a walk down this way here, we'll see one of my favorite spots. So again, we see a crude fencing for the cattle, make sure they don't fall down the hill. They're pretty steep hills. And right over there is one of my favorite little shacks in the world. Got a nice view. This area has developed quite a bit in the past 10 years. That hilltop ahead has been opened up for farming. This shack has been rebuilt once or twice. And the side of this hill has expanded for farming. And across the street here, we'll see. They've got cattle grazing usually. Can't see them today. That spot down there has opened up. And then there's a big banana farm now. It seems like, yeah, it's got PVC piping. So there's some kind of irrigation in there. That's a couple hundred banana trees, that's for sure. 300 plants. And then I think we've got wild rice here on the hillside. I'm kind of happy it's not corn. But just 10 years ago, I'm pretty sure all of this side, certainly over there, was forest, natural forest. That hilltop over there was forested. Most of this is forested. So little by little, people have been creeping out of the village to use the commons land. And who's to say to what end or how much it's brought home, but I suppose it keeps people alive. There's been a gate here in some form for many, many years. It's been reinforced in the past few years, and this has been replaced several times. It's much safer for cows. It's quite steep. Cows have fallen and died on these hillsides. You can see little cow runs here. I think this kind of marks the official end of the village and onto, I don't know, what would be like a federal land or something that's not really the village. So just up there, past the cow patties, is a sign from the federal government Department of, I don't know, Wildlife and Conservation or something like that. We'll take a look at it. So these two signs are new. I think they're within a month. The one on the left just announces that the Grom Pamay, which is the forestry department or something like that, has control over this area. And then the one on the right has all the rules. Like a lot of things here, they're kind of repetitive. Basically, don't take anything, no logging, no occupying the forest. You need permission to take any natural resource. Don't set fire to anything. Don't change the landscape. Basically. So there's a sign, which is interesting because this path up here, it seemed like somebody had just kind of taken over and put up a bunch of animal fencing. And that's on the sign up here too. Don't keep your animals back here. But as the Cow Patty Alley suggests, there are certainly some animals and people back here. I just heard a tree falling in the background, so I'm going to go down the hill. I know there's one homesteader out down the hill, but it was really muddy yesterday and it rained last night, so I'm going to see if I can go back there and get past the mud. A lot of these daddy longlegs spiders around. I wonder if they're eating these trails of ants. And they cross the road every so often. A lot of traffic there in Antville. So just in the first few years that they dug out this hillside, it's an old trail, but they flattened it out and dug it into the hillside a little more. You can see the weather, rain, has worn patterns into the rock already. Or, well, it's kind of a muddy rock sediment. Pretty serious rain though. Looks like we'll be able to get past the part that was muddy yesterday. Maybe. Just around the corner here. Yeah. So, we'll see. It's not too bad just yet. The soils around here change from hill to hill sometimes. Here you see a really red mud. It gets very slick. I guess it's clay. Okay. We got past that slick, muddy, sticky clay stuff and down to this part, which used to be a washout corner. And it looks like somebody's gone to quite a lot of work to put tree trunks down that waterfall area, and then, I don't know, is that seized wood or what? But they've built up this corner that used to be more or less unpassable from time to time. See, it's pretty deep down there. And the reason I want to go see if those homesteaders are still around is because that sign now suggests that future homesteaders won't be able to do the same. They Here we're not even 100 meters down the trail, and it's solid, pretty solid rock, mostly solid. Kind of a shale, like sandstone. So this is new as well. This big tree trunk here has been here for a long time. I used to come and do push-ups and sit-ups at this junction right here, which was just a trail intersection, and now they've got, is that a pig house or what is it? Some kind of livestock shelter. So it seems that homesteading has become a trend or something, that they've even got a bridge back here. So maybe that's what all the new regulation is about. Just trying to keep it under wraps. Well, I'm going to go up over this hill and then see what those homesteaders look like. That's just plain wasteful. These trees have been just cut and set to burn up. Clear the hillside for corn farming, I suspect. I don't know. But it looks like unsuccessfully so. It's not being worked. Boo. Deforestation, the scourge of the industrialized world. No way. Well, this isn't just the homesteaders at all. I mean, pretty ridiculous too. It's a big tree. These are big trees. So I know people in the village will come out here and cut down trees sometimes, or they have in the past. I don't know if all this with the sign makes a difference now. So now it's like posted that they're not to do this. There's a fine and all this whatnot. Well, I mean, that's why we don't have old growth trees here anymore. 100 years ago, somebody got the idea to export them. A lot of nice furniture around still, but just because Mahong San has the most trees of any tribe province doesn't mean that you should cut them down and just let them lay on the side of hills all over the place. Yeah, this is sort of like commercial scale destruction here. The hillsides just deforested, and then why? I don't even know. And that could happen to every hillside really quickly. So assuming this is a licensed use of property. Ooh, why aren't you friendly? Okay. How would they even get the license? Just talk to the village? Nobody paid licensing fee for you, did they? No way. No way. This is not the easiest way to get back to the village, but it sure is a nice view. Huai Na.